how do you go about finding like good mentors?
Research is pretty much the only thing you can do. One thing I've learned that literally just hit me last week, I said,
I am excited to welcome the founder and CEO of Encore Salon Suites, Patrice McKinney.
I actually had the opportunity to go to the league, WNBA. I was a star player. I could dunk and all those good things. And I actually turned that down because the WNBA just wasn't paying enough, just to be honest with you. So I actually received a lot of backlash when I made that announcement because I was a good basketball player. So they were like, why is she leaving that to go pursue entrepreneurship? Every shift that I made, it was a different reason, but it was always the next level for me. Almost every time, the next level requires you letting go of something to make room for something else. So that was always my mindset.
What's up, everybody? Jasmine here, and I am back with another episode of And This. So today I have a special guest, home team. We are from the same hometown, have known her for years, and I am excited to welcome the founder and CEO of Encore Salon Suites, Patrice McKinney.
Hi,
friend.
How you doing? What's up, Jazz?
How are you?
I'm good. I can't complain. Staying busy.
Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So I am so intrigued. Like, you are the founder and CEO of Encore Salon Suites, and I'm just so intrigued by this business model. So tell us a little more about it.
Cool. So I'm actually the founder. I sold the business December 2023.
Oh, wait, what?
So no longer the CEO.
Hold on.
Yep.
You sold the business.
Sold the whole company.
Like,
done. 100%.
like somebody gave you a check.
Correct. And I gave
and you
them.
cashed that check.
Absolutely.
And they now own Encore Salon Suites.
Correct. Yep. So I still work with them. I consult with them every month, but they are the official owners. So
I don't think I've seen you announce. Like, have you?
Yeah, you got that exclusive information right here.
Y'all, we got
nobody
the
knows
exclusive.
that. So
y'all, we got the exclusive because
Yeah.
I haven't seen. Like, I be all up in her stories, all up on her social, and
yep, I haven't posted about it yet. So
wow. Okay, so what led to that decision? Like, was that always the plan?
that was the plan. So I always had my exit plan, which was to sell. So when I opened my second location, I actually sold the first location. Some people don't know that, but I sold it to a franchise. So I owned it. It was a corporate location. And then I sold it as a package deal to a company or two partners who wanted to franchise. In that deal was a multi-unit deal. So they were able to take on the turnkey location, and then they had to open 2 more locations. So I sold just that one location for $500,000, converted it into a franchise location. So I still got royalties after that. And so
Pause, y'all, because I'm just over here shocked. One, you so dope, first of all, but like, how does your brain, like, who even, I just look at entrepreneurs these days and it's like, who even is thinking like this? Like, you are thinking so far beyond. Like, you hear about this stuff from, honestly, old white men.
Facts.
Right? And like, how did you get here? Like, how is your brain even operating to even do these moves? And these aren't little, y'all, she said $500,000. Okay. And she's now done it twice. She's done it 2 times.
Yep. In the same company.
So like,
2 sales.
how do you even, what's going on in there?
Right. So I think it has a lot to do with exposure and just your circle of people. Because sometimes I don't necessarily think of everything. Like, I'm not the one who thought about franchising. Somebody that I know brought it to my attention. So with this particular deal, though, it was to promote franchising. So we were very strategic. And what we did, we posted the business for sale just to get leads. So ideally, I didn't plan on selling that first location. It was really my baby, too. It was the one that I literally put hands on, hand painted myself. But when we put that ad out, people were really interested in selling it. So then my team, we were like, well, how about if we sell it, we package it and make them open 2 more. So that'd be the deal. So that was going to be my plan going forward, was to sell the turnkey locations if you agreed to open 2 more. So it was tough at first to detach from it because, like I said, it was my first location, the one that I literally cried real tears for to get it open. But it's all business. You can't have your personal feelings in business. So that was how that one went. As far as the entire sale for Encore, it was always my plan. My plan was to have more locations before I sold it. But
how many locations did you have?
I wanted to have 10.
Okay.
I have 5 on the way. The 5th one is getting built right now. But it was just the right time. And I feel like I paid my dues. My consultation company is really big now, where I help others start their own salon suite business. So that was kind of just a bit overwhelming trying to juggle both. So I said, well, let me go ahead and put it on the market now and see if I can find the right buyer. Someone who wants to still grow the brand, keep the name of the brand, because a lot of people wanted to change the name, and someone who will still allow me to be a part of it. And so that I found the perfect owners for that. It took a year to find them. Sold the whole company. I still work with the company, but now I can focus more on my students and my mentees and just everything else.
So going back to when you had the first sale,
okay,
right? And that detachment, talk a little bit about that, because I feel as entrepreneurs, there are times when we know we should make pivots and we know we should make shifts, right? But we're so attached to that thing. Like we do not want to let it go. And so how did you kind of come to that decision? Like, this is the right move to make while you were grieving.
True.
Because it's a grieving process.
Absolutely.
I closed the business. Like it's you grieving.
Absolutely. So I give a lot of credit to my twin sister. We're like best friends. But anytime I'm trying to make a decision, she literally has me come to her house and we draw on the board the pros and the cons. And so we literally did that. We drew out the pros of selling it and the cons of selling it. The pros was more beneficial because, again, I could sell it, still own it technically because it's a franchise. So it's still under my brand. I'm getting 2 more locations on top of that. I'm still getting royalties from that one I sold. And I can take that money and flip it in other ways that I've now learned from my experience in business, how to flip money in different ways. So the pros outweighed the cons. And then after that, after I really broke that down, it was an easy decision. Because like I said, it was easier too because I still got to keep the name, and that was real big to me. So
I think a lot of people think like franchising is easy. Like, ooh, this is sexy. Let me get into franchising and let me hurry up and try to duplicate it. But it's not that easy, right? So what made you get into this specific lane?
So as I mentioned earlier, your circle is very important. So I had a gentleman at this time. I was already selling a course, and I had a gentleman come to me and say, "Hey, why don't you look into franchising where people can actually buy into your brand?" So I had heard of it, but when he explained it to me and the benefits of it, it's a faster way to scale your business without using your own capital. I was like, damn, that sounds pretty interesting. So I did some research, looked into it, realized it wasn't as difficult as people think, because some people do think it's more difficult than it is. Also, and they think it's like extremely expensive. So I did some research, found a company, really understood the benefits of it, signed up and got started right away. So
can you explain what it actually means to franchise for, you know, our listeners out there that are listening or watching that just really may not know? What does that mean?
So franchising is basically when you register your business in several states, which allows other people to buy into your brand. So for example, I use McDonald's as an example. McDonald's isn't owned by the corporate. All McDonald's locations aren't owned by one person. Like you and I can go and open a McDonald's. What we're buying into, what we do is we pay McDonald's a franchise fee. It can be anywhere from like $50,000 to $100,000 up front. We're paying them to use their systems, their colors, their branding, their training. And then we pay them a royalty every month that we're open. But you and I have to actually go pay for the build out. But the benefit is it's a business that's already successful. It already has the blueprint. So instead of me going to start in my own burger spot, I can use somebody who already has a proven business model, proven success. And again, if you notice, all McDonald's look alike. So of course you have to make sure everything is similar. And that's basically what franchising is. So again, it's a faster way to scale. You have to register in each state. And it's basically a bunch of paperwork. There's a document called a FDD, a franchise disclosure document. Okay. It's like 100 pages. So, I mean, it has your trainings, your systems, how you market, just literally everything. So anybody can franchise. Some people think you have to have a certain amount of locations. There are some franchise companies that don't have any locations. If you have a blueprint and somebody believes in it, they'll franchise. So that there's no requirements or anything like that, other than the difficult part is a lot of people aren't prepared to franchise, meaning a lot of people don't have their systems in place. So it's like, yeah, you have a good business model, but if you were to leave today, could you hand somebody a document and they be able to run your business without you being there? If not, you're not ready to franchise.
That's so good. Like, that's so good just as a way of even thinking about how you structure your
Exactly.
business, right? Like
Exactly.
how important it is to have systems and processes in place. Like, can I hand this over and somebody be able to run it?
Yeah.
I'm going to say most entrepreneurs
they do not.
Absolutely not.
So that's when it becomes difficult because people aren't ready. That's why, I always tell people, even when you're just starting out, start documenting everything, have your systems in place. Because even when it comes to selling, when it comes to franchising, when it comes to selling, they want to see the records. They want to see that you have the blueprint as well. So when I sold Encore, not necessarily as a franchise, but just selling a company, me having those systems in place, I was able to get more for my money. You know what I mean? Because I showed like, look, everything's in place. This is going to be an easy transition for you. You can do this. I've done all the work for you. Whereas if I didn't have all that stuff in place, I probably wouldn't be able to ask for as much. You know what I mean? So that's why it's important to truly have systems in place from the very beginning.
When someone is looking to get into this, is there a specific investment amount that they need to have? Like, how much does this cost?
To franchise or to open a salon?
To franchise.
To become a franchise?
Well, both.
Okay, great question. So franchising, it depends on the type of business. So like retail or restaurant, that can cost you anywhere from $25,000 up. Okay. But like a medical office, more paperwork, more type of stuff, that'll cost you like $50,000. But with our company, I actually hired an award-winning Ivy League trained team of attorneys and strategists. So they franchise over 100 locations or 100 businesses, really big and small businesses, over 15 years of experience. So the beautiful thing about my franchise company, which I'm kind of sliding it in there, I have a franchise company where I actually help businesses become a franchise. We're pretty affordable. So we start at $15,000, but you still get that top-notch attorney and strategist that have years of experience. So you still get a good team of people.
Okay, so let me run it back.
So
in addition to all these amazing things,
and this,
you also have a franchising company in which you are you are buying other franchises, or people come to you to learn, hey, I want to learn how to franchise my business. Here's $15,000. Correct. Let your whole team do it.
Yep. So franchising is basically just filing along a bunch of paperwork, which is pretty much just attorney work, to be quite honest with you. The initial bulk of the work is. So what we do is we take any company. It could be a gym owner, a restaurant owner, clothing store owner. If you want to franchise, we actually franchise. So this is the thing. Some people think just because there's 2 locations that you're a franchise. People use the word incorrectly all the time.
You said no, man.
It doesn't mean that, right? It just means that you own 2 corporate locations. There's a guy who franchised in New York. He had a dope concept. He thought he franchised and he literally blew up. He had about 25 franchises. They found out that he didn't actually file the paperwork. So he had to give all those franchise fees back and everybody got to rebrand it. So that's why it's important. Franchising is actually a process where you first have to make sure you have your trademark registered and you have to actually file with certain states, and it can vary the cost. But we help companies. We bring you on board and we have our attorneys figure out how to package your FDD, franchise disclosure document, which is what you're going to give people who are interested in your franchise. So we just bring our team together and we file those documents for you. We help you create them and we file them for you so that you can actually now start selling your brand as a franchise. And we can do it in as little as 30 days. So 30 days after we receive everything, you can start posting, hey, you want to open a salon or my brand in New York, or you want to open it in Miami. And so that's basically what we do, is help people become a franchise. And see, that's the thing. Most people, they think they have to buy into a franchise. Let me go open a Chick-fil-A. Let me open a Pilates franchise. But if you have your own brand, you can franchise and people can buy into your brand.
So what are some qualifications that business owners need to have in order to be able to franchise? Like, is this something, hey, I just decided yesterday, I want to franchise a wig store. Like, can you just go out and do it? What are some qualifications?
So you want to make sure you have a proven business model and that it's successful, of course. And then again, the systems. So you need to have those systems in place. If you can, or if you haven't already, if you at least can document your training, document your marketing, have an operations manual. If you have those 3 things in place and you're successful, then you're pretty much ready to franchise.
But how do you know if your business is franchisable? Is that a word? I don't know. But like, if how do you know? Like, has there ever been a time that you know of like, hey, I want to franchise, and they go through all of this. They go through all of the paperwork. They invest. they hire people and then nobody wants to buy in.
So like I said, as long as you have a proven business model and you're successful, pretty much anybody, I won't say anybody, but you have a high chance of people interested in it. What happens is after you franchise, there is still work that needs to be done, right? So you still have to market it. You still have to go find what's called a franchisee. The franchisor is the business owner, the founder. The franchisee is the person who's buying into it. So you still have to go find a franchisee. And then that's when the qualifications kick in, because you want to make sure you find someone who's qualified in that niche, right? So if you're doing a salon suite, for example, my requirements was you had to have a certain amount of money, just so I know that you have the money to actually pay for the build out and not just the franchise fee. You have to have certain like basic communication skills. My requirements wasn't too crazy, but it can vary depending on the business model. They may require you to have certifications or something like that to actually become a franchisee. But yeah, that's just like with anything, any business, the marketing. So you still have to get the word out there. You can be ready, you can be franchisable and be a franchisor, but you still have to know how to market and show people the benefits in using my blueprint and my model instead of going to start your own business.
And is that, by your definition, is it someone that needs to be like, you need to already have hit 7 figures in your business, or can it be 6 figures? Because 6 figures, that's a range.
It just needs to be somebody that can afford the build out if there is one.
What's the average cost of a build out?
So for a salon suite, the average cost for a build out could be anywhere from like $100,000 to $200,000 plus. Depends on many things. So with me, I need to make sure you have that money, because that build out, there may be another business that you only need another $20,000 after you pay your franchise fee to get started. So as far as how much money, no, you don't need to make a certain amount of money, as long as you got the money to execute and you have the characteristics and qualifications to actually be a good owner.
Do the work.
Do the work, exactly. Because some people think, well, I bought the blueprint, it should just happen. Right. It's like, no, you still have to do the work. We just giving you a head start. We made all the mistakes for you. We wasted a lot of money for you. It's working now. This is proving that it works. Here's the business model. Now you go and execute. But as the franchisor, you still want to tap in with your franchisees, make sure that they're up to date. You may have some new marketing ideas come in and stuff. So usually there's like monthly meetings and stuff like that where everyone is on the same page, and just to help everybody succeed.
I am so intrigued by this.
Are you a product-based business owner that's ready to scale? I've compiled my industry experience and knowledge into bite-sized resources that you can access anytime, anywhere at jasmineboundary.shop. You'll get actionable insight, advanced strategies, and in-depth knowledge on how to grow your product-based business. Visit jasmineboundary.shop today, and let's take your brand to the next level. Now, back to the episode.
So if somebody's just started following you, right? They're like, wow, she's a founder of Salon Suites. She's coaching and consulting others how to build their salon suites. And she's teaching others how to actually like franchise their business. But I happen to know that Sway was also an amazing basketball player. Like, she can hoop. A retired barber, a rapper, and an actress. Like, you are the poster child for and this, because you have done and this, and this, and this, and this. Like, but how are you so good? How are you so good at all of these things? And was there any point in time where you felt, because I feel like a guru would say, oh, she doesn't have focus, scatterbrain. Do you ever feel like there was a time with that, with all of these different avenues?
Hell yes. Scatterbrain like a mug. Absolutely. I done did about 20 more things on top of that. And a dancer now. Don't forget that part. No,
wait, right.
Yep. So I wouldn't say that I was great at everything, because I tried a lot of things. I did a lot of experimenting in my lifetime. But basketball was just a natural thing. So, I kind of started out really young with that. So pretty good at basketball. I actually chose not to go to the league so that I could pursue entrepreneurship, because as a lot of people see nowadays, WNBA players don't get paid that much money. So a lot of them actually work 2 jobs. Some of them are, most college coaches that are assistant coaches at colleges are WNBA players. So they have 2 jobs. After the season, they either go coach or they go overseas. And I was like, ain't no way I'm committing all this time to this and I still got to go get a whole second job. Meanwhile, the men get fined $100,000 for cussing. Wow. We don't even get paid that. Wow. You know, that's what they're fined for saying a cuss word. So I always was like, I wanted more. I said, well, I'll go own the WNBA team. So I actually received a lot of backlash when I made that announcement because I was a good basketball player. So they were like, why is she leaving that to go, you know, pursue entrepreneurship? So packed up my family, planned for like a whole year to pack up from Michigan, and we moved to Atlanta strictly to pursue entrepreneurship. So I would just say that anything I put my mind to, I really put my heart and soul into, and I put a lot of work into. And I think that's the key to anything, is just really having that work ethic, really having a plan, first of all, and then really being disciplined enough to actually execute it. You know what I mean? So
how do you know if it's, hey, this is a failure, or is it like, okay, next thing, you know, moving on?
Yep. I think it depends on certain things, and it depends on that at what point in life I was at. Sometimes it's financial, like if I'm not making a certain amount of money. Sometimes it's a time frame after this many years. Sometimes it's just exhaustion, you know what I mean? So every shift that I made, it was a different reason, but it was always the next level for me, you know what I mean? So I'm always looking at what the next level is. And a lot of times, almost every time, the next level requires you letting go of something to make room for something else. So that was always my mindset. What am I letting go of, and what am I replacing it with? Is it better? Again, going to those pros and cons of me making that shift. And anytime I felt like the pros were better, I took a leap of faith and I would go for it.
So let's say we have someone and they want to get started. Like they are like, wow, like she has done some amazing things. She's doing amazing things. How do they get started on the path? Like, what are the first steps that someone needs to take if they wanted to follow in your footsteps?
To open a salon suite, the first step would be to follow me. No. Sign up for my course, but truly do your research. Regardless of me and whoever someone chooses, I would say definitely seek some type of knowledge in anything that you do before you make a decision. There's always some type of fear or hesitation, but the more research you do, the more you educate yourself, it gives you more confidence to go into it. So I would say just doing your due diligence. If you are paying for a course or paying for a mentor, again, doing your due diligence, making sure they have proven results. But specifically for the salon suites, it's just making sure you have good credit or access to funding, because you're going to need a nice chunk of money to actually execute this. And then just getting that education. You know what I mean? So
how do you go about, because you and I share a mentor.
Okay. Yep.
Shout out to CJ.
CJ.
How do you go about finding like good mentors? What programs to invest in? Because I know that you invest in yourself heavily.
Absolutely.
How do you go about doing that research of, hey, I would love this person to be my mentor, or I would love to invest in this course, this, coach, this program? What's your process like?
Research is pretty much the only thing you can do. Somebody can refer someone to you, but you still have to just do the research, right? And even then, you're just still taking a risk with these mentors. But one thing I've learned that literally just hit me last week, I said, I wouldn't always go to the most popular mentor, because usually they're the least accessible. You know what I mean? It looks good. They've helped a lot of people, but you're like 5 levels down. You're not that important to them. So I would say people who aren't so popular, but just, again, making sure that they have proven results. Who have you helped? If you can reach out to that person and contact them. People ask my students all the time, hey, how's Sway's course? And I encourage them to do that. Ask other people that have taken my course. So yeah, I would say just doing your research and understanding that everything is a risk. A lot of times people think hiring a mentor means it's just about to be easy. It's like, no, it's just somebody who's guiding you, but you still got to put in the work. You know what I mean? So yeah, just research.
Is there anything that you would change about how you went about your process to where you are now?
I would say maybe I would have been a little more patient in some areas of life, like some business ventures that I tried out. Maybe I would have been a little bit more patient. Maybe seek some type of mentorship earlier on. But when I started my salon suites, there was no type of mentorship in that space, which is why I created it. But I would say that I think sometimes people give up too soon and they don't understand that things take time. Sometimes I used to regret having scattered brain, because I feel like I used to jump around. But sometimes when I look back at it, I'm like, I got a lot of experience from that. which I think is what helps me now, is all the experience I got from all the business ventures that I've tried. So yeah, I would just say just maybe a little bit more patience and not taking business so personal. So my first location and that experience of opening a business gave me so much anxiety because I'm like, damn it, I paid you, do the right thing. And it's like, even when you pay people, they don't do the right thing. So understanding that, just understanding with business, like I said, there's risk. Things aren't going to go as planned, but most things will if you have a plan.
So somebody listening might be like, yo, this is hard. I'm putting in the work. I'm trying to survive. The economy is bad. I know that entrepreneurship is for me, right? But they're seeing you and they're seeing, just sitting here, we've talked about at least, 5 different pivots you've made. And being now on the other side of that, seeing success. How many times did you fall down? Like how long did it actually take for you to now be where you can be on trips and yachts and buying your mama cars and, really taking care of your family and seeing that, that level of success and financial freedom? Like, how long did that actually take?
Man, I've been going at it since I've been in Atlanta, so probably 15 years.
Wow.
15 years. I want to say I just started seeing true like wealth, if you will, maybe 3 years ago. But what I would say to someone else is first really looking yourself in the mirror and saying, are you really working hard? Because a lot of times people say, I'm working hard, but are you really? What does that mean? You spent 20 minutes today? You're really not putting in that work. You're really not putting in the work. So that's probably the main reason. Because if you're really consistent and you put in work, there's no failing. I don't look at anything as a failure. I really look at all my losses as lessons because truly they are. And I know that's cliche, but it really is that because you're going to lose some. That's how people become great is they experience losses. That's when you really learn. You know what I mean? Yeah. You think about growing up. Your parents tell you stuff all the time. Don't touch this. Don't do that. But you don't learn until you actually do it. And you're like, oh, damn, that was hot. So I would say really being real with yourself about are you really putting in that work to really become successful? And then understanding, like you said, it does take time. People don't see a video of me in the city of Atlanta crying my heart out, trying to get a permit to start my building. They see me on the yacht twerking. No.
She ain't lying, y'all.
No, but it's like understanding that it does take time. And it's like, it's just stay down, be consistent, have a plan. Don't be distracted by social media. Social media is so much of a distraction to everything in life right now, from just engaging in other people's lives to seeing, oh, well, he did it this way. Well, he did this. Well, he did that. What do I do? You know what I mean? Most people's struggle is what do they do? And it's through trial and error. You don't know. Just try it out. Try it out. Again, have a plan to eliminate the risk and just keep pushing.
So one of the things you've mentioned, and you said it a few times, right? Like you moved to Atlanta because you wanted to be in the city of entrepreneurship, right? You wanted to see it, you wanted to feel it. And that was actually one of the reasons why I moved to Atlanta. But you also hear Atlanta full of scammers. All it is lifestyle entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs on, jets and in lavish cars and all of that. But what do you feel Atlanta has provided you in terms of opportunities? Do you think you could have gotten where you are if you didn't live here?
Absolutely not. I think exposure is so important. And that's why I thank my mother for putting me into sports, because when I was young, we would travel and I would go see a palm tree like, damn, what kind of tree is that? Or I would go to Arizona. There's kids who really never seen a palm tree. You know what I mean? And so you only know what you know. And that's why you have to try to expose yourself. So even when I was going into being a barber, one of my family members was like, don't be a barber. You only gonna make cigarette money. And I was like, what's that? You're gonna make just enough to buy a pack of cigarettes and step outside the door and smoke them. I was like, damn, that's what you think? But what I did was I started doing my research. I was looking at barbers in Atlanta and New York. And I'm like, well, damn, he's driving the Benz. He owns the building. Okay, hold on. I didn't know that this was possible. So then I was like, oh, this is possible because I exposed myself to that. So I think with Atlanta, yes, there are scammers as there are in any industry, but there are people who are truly successful. So I wanted to be in that environment so that I could learn and have those opportunities that I wasn't getting back home in a smaller city that just aren't there. That's just the reality of it. I love my city, but you can only do so much there. So I think Atlanta just shows you see people of color too. They own everything from a dealership to a gym. Like you see people successful, and that lets you know that you can do it. You're amongst some of the celebrities and stuff being in Atlanta. You can be out eating and see Usher, and just that right there makes you feel like, damn, okay, I'm up there too. So I think that it really just helps boost your confidence, but it's all about how you work it. Because again, just like a lot of things I talked about, people move to Atlanta and think that it's just, I'm in Atlanta, like make me rich. It's like, no, you have to know how to use your resources. You have to learn how to get into the right rooms and be amongst the right people, because it's a lot about who you know. So I think Atlanta definitely has a huge impact on my success and my family. I moved my mother here. She has a cleaning company, my twin sister, my younger twin sister. So I moved the whole family here. And it's one of the best decisions I've ever made.
And this is all about being multidimensional and multifaceted, not being put in a box because someone expects you to be there, but it's allowing yourself to try and be the different things, to try different avenues, to try different things that you may have had passion or interest in, but not just being in a box, right? Not just doing the thing because, hey, I went to school to be a doctor, so I can only be a doctor. I can only be this. And this is about being this and this and this. So Sway, I want to ask you, when you think about the words and this, what do you think about?
I think about the things I want in life, and there's more than one thing I want. I want that and this and this and this. So I have to have that same mindset when it comes to business. I have to do this and this and this, and that's just the reality of it. And I think, like you said, a lot of people's struggle in life, and period, is being in a box. I feel like you can't have and this until you really accept this. And I feel like there was a point in time where I was definitely in a box. I was like a corporate robot is what I refer to myself as, trying to just be so perfect and make sure I post certain stuff. I can only talk about Salon Suites. And it's like the second I said, I don't give a dang, I'm talking about it just changed everything, because people like authenticity and they want to see that you're human too, because you appear to be a robot. Well, damn, I'm not a robot, so I can't relate to you. But okay, you're out living life. You have a family. You're on vacation. You're laughing. You're twerking. So hey, I can relate to you. So I think it starts with like just you accepting and loving yourself, and then you can do anything. But more importantly too, just to have true generational wealth, you need several sources of income. So you have to diversify your portfolio. And it's not as overwhelming as it may appear to be if you are organized, if you have a plan, if you have discipline. It's all about a plan. I'm talking about like my plans, my days, I break it down quarterly, yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily. I got a plan for how's my day going? I literally have to break it down. So I enjoy it because I get to try different things, meet different people, make money from different businesses and stuff like that. So I think everybody needs and this energy, and kudos to people who do have that, because that's the only way to truly have generational wealth. You know what I mean? So
I love that. So please tell us, like, how can people learn more about your coaching, your consulting, your courses? Where can they find you? Give us all the details.
Absolutely. So primarily I do focus on the salon suite business, but I do also help beauty professionals scale as well. So anything hair, beauty, industry related, you can follow me on Instagram, Sway, SWAY_the_pro. My website is thesalonsuitemodel.com. That's where you can find my courses. I have an online course. I have a one-on-one mentorship. So I do one-on-one consultations. So those two websites, thesalonsuitemodel.com and Sway the Pro.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Listen, y'all better go follow her. Sway, this was so good. I hope that you guys were taking notes of all the amazing gems. Like, she dropped gems. I will see you guys on the next episode of And This.